Hello and welcome to the video. So we got our first look at Star Wars Beyond Victory, a mixed reality playset. Now, I love all things Star Wars and I'm obsessed with VR, so to me, VR and Star Wars is a killer combination. And I absolutely loved Vader Immortal, and I absolutely love any Star Wars title that we have currently. I've played Jedi Outcast thanks to Team Beef, Galaxy's Edge. I absolutely loved all of those games. Now, when I heard of the new Star Wars VR game, I was super excited and I couldn't wait to see more. So we got the trailer, and I was a little bit confused about the MR in the title, the mixed reality, given that Meta now call MR everything with VR, with be it virtual reality, mixed reality, it's all under that one umbrella, MR. So it was a little bit sort of open and up in the air as to what kind of title this will be. So apparently it is a mixed reality title. It will utilize the full color pass-through of the MetaQuest 3 and the MetaQuest 3S. The game is set during the period of Solo, a Star Wars story. Now the story follows Volo, an aspiring pod racer whose life gets turned upside down, under the mentorship of the infamous Sebulba. Now you might remember Sebulba from the Phantom Menace movie. Now the game boasts about pod racing, stating you'll experience the thrill of pod racing on your own holo table and steer into the action like never before. Now you can see in the trailer that you are actually looking top down onto the pod racing as you're actually controlling the race. This to me is a little bit of a shame. I was hoping for some actual first-person pod racing, as I'm sure most of you were as well. Now the game says, transform your physical play space and create your own memorable Star Wars moments using a collection of virtual action figures and vehicles in mixed reality. So it sounds like you're going to be able to unlock some collectible figures and vehicles, probably spaceships, pod races, those kind of things. And probably play with them in mixed reality, which does actually sound pretty cool. That's the bit that I am excited about. I did play Star Wars Pinball, and one of the things that really impressed me with that game was the making of your own Star Wars man cave. You can play the music on the jukebox that you unlock, you can play your pinball machines, put your own posters up that you've collected, your own life-size statues, unlock helmets and things. It was absolutely great. So I imagine there's going to be a similar sort of thing here. The thing that bothers me is the mixed reality element and the top down of the pod racing. I was really hoping to get into the nitty and gritty and to actually control a pod racer myself in first person perspective. Now that might still be the case, we just don't have clarification on that. Although judging from the fact that it's a mixed reality title, talking about a holodeck, and the footage that we have seen is top down, it seems to suggest that you're going to be controlling the ship from a third person perspective, almost like playing with micro machines or Scalextrics, those kind of things, which isn't going to be terrible, and I'm sure the game's going to be great. I am going to still try it. I just really wish we had that first person perspective. It does look like in the trailer that you get some first person perspective as you're working on the pod races, so there might be some customization, some maintenance you've got to do on the pod races themselves. That looks to be in first person. And I imagine other story elements are going to be in first person as well. But it looks like the pod racing itself could be in third person. Now, mixed reality, I think, does hold a lot of games back. And in this respect, I think that's going to be one of those cases. Happy to be proven wrong. I really want Star Wars in VR to be great. I want more titles, especially if you look at the other titles that these guys have worked on, which is like Vader Immortal. I played that game through the campaign 3 times on the MetaQuest, and also sank many hours into the dojo. So I do appreciate the work they do, and the Star Wars games are really great. I want this one to succeed, but mixed reality I think is limiting the audience slightly. Mixed reality can work, and I think it's a great entry point for many. It does reduce motion sickness. You have accessible view to your surroundings. But in some cases, when we're talking racing, pod racing in particular, I'd like to get into the cockpit. And I hope that's the case. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you happy with the perspective top down, or are you like me and you want to see some first person? What do you think is going to happen? Hope you have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.